Alyssa Foster, and I'm doing a presentation on the influence of media and television on social perceptions of crime and violence. So my first slide is about the influence of mass media on the perceptions of crime and deviance. I believe that mass media creates a distorted view of crime, meaning that they show the bare minimum of the crime to keep you watching. Since they are television shows, at the end of the day, the television shows need views in order to make money. In the article, the influence of exposure to depictions of race and crime in TV news on viewers' social judgments by Dana Mastro, Maria Knight Lipinski, Maria Kopacz. They said the analysts of television news consistently indicate that black males are overrepresented as predators and underrepresented as victims compared to their white counterparts on TV, as well as real-life Department of Justice reports. This results in mass media giving false and misleading impressions of the real extent of the violent crimes that are happening and only highlighting the ones that fit into their perceptions. Next is how media creates unwarranted levels of fear in society. The mass media creates moral panic by giving out misleading facts about a particular crime. This results in creating fear and anxiety around a certain crime and putting pressure on political figures to come up with a solution. In the article, Crime Cultivation, Comparison Across Media Genres and Channels by Maria Elizabeth Grab and Dan G. Drew, they did a study of 505 people about how different TV genres related or reflected their views and perceptions on crime. An interesting result to me was that the people that watched TV news and reality TV police shows would be, quote, stronger predictors of cultivation effects, meaning perceptions of crime, end quote, compared to those who watch crime genres. So an example of this is the show Cops, being a reality TV show following actual police officers on their shifts, chasing down criminals and arresting them, giving the audience a realistic view on crime happening in the real world, even if the episode takes place in a state that is far away from them. They're most likely to have fear. As opposed to a crime drama show like Criminal Minds, which follows a team of FBI agents trying to find serial killers that are all made up and fabricated cases. This is less likely to create fear with the audience because it isn't as realistic to the viewer. Next is how perceptions of crime reinforce social labels and stereotypes in society. From the Influence of Exposure article, it talks about media priming, which is, quote, the process from which information is advocated by exposure to media guides subsequent judgments, end quote. The article says that, quote, results from priming investigations indicate that exposure to racial/ethnic stereotypes in media can influence real-world racial evaluations in terms of outcomes such as misconceptions and stereotypes regarding racial/ethnic minorities, end quote. This is a domino effect situation. Media puts out a story about a crime, which then leads to the audience making their own perceptions of the crime and the criminal that committed it, which leads to stereotypes that all people like that certain case commit crimes. In the article, Construction of a Crack Mother Icon, it says, quote, "At a time when drug crimes were declining, the Reagan administration instituted a war on drugs. According to Michelle Anderson, the Reagan administration triggered a media campaign with images and reports of drug-ridden Black communities and crack babies to garner support of drug policies and targeted African Americans. The media attention changed mainstream perceptions of users and dealers to set the stage for mass incarceration, criminalization, and demonization of African American communities." Next is how the concepts from the textbook match up with the concepts of the articles. So in the textbook, the Relativity of Deviance by John Cura, it says on page 39, radicals view deviance as one of the choices that people consequently make in order to manage some of the difficulties posed from them by life in a contradictory society. These theorists focus more on the process of lawmaking than of law breaking. The principal reason is that they were inclined to view the official definitions of crime as one of the tools that privileged and powered groups use to maintain their own positions while restricting the social mobility and power of the less privileged. Another point that was in the textbook is cultural criminology, which means whose representatives work to understand how culture and crime interpenetrate one another in the world that is unequal, uninclusionary, ambiguous, and constantly changing. This goes hand in hand with the article, The Influence of Exposure, where the study's results were that white people criminalized Black people over other whites, just going off of their race and not even going off their race and their gender. Then the next slide is about how a theoretical perspective on deviance and crime is functionalism. Durkheim believes that it is an essential part to a successful society, that even when deviance is punished, it reforms social norms that were previously held. Mass media shows deviance and the consequences that result in such actions, but functionalism says that it is necessary so society will never stay the same. Although this can be a bad thing, although this could be a bad thing in that they can take shortcuts in life to get to their American dream, when really those shortcuts could lead to crime and consequences. And then this is my works cited. Thank you.